This is Popular Cult. Welcome to Popular Cult, the place that talks pop culture. I'm joined by my cohorts,
Masseline,
Jay,
and I'm DK. To be completely honest with you, we've done this before. All of these episodes that you're going to be hearing have been recorded previously, but the audio was so terrible that it could not be salvaged. As Masseline so highly objects, we're doing it again. So you hear parts of the episodes where we go, oh, I remember this, or something along those lines, then you understand where we're coming from. Maybe later on down the road, if I'm somehow able to be magical enough on the editing button to salvage them, we'll release them at a later time. We've also lost a member since then, so you'll get to meet her. But right now, you have the three of us. This is Popular Cult. The whole idea of this podcast, I guess you'd call it a podcast. I hate calling it a podcast because I feel like podcasts are so overdone. I just kind of feel like this is a place where we just kind of sit and talk nonsense.
podcast.
You can call it a podcast, I guess, if you want. Shut up. But anyway, the whole idea of this is just for us to sit down and talk about random thoughts and ideas that we've had, most of them coming from my brain that never stops. My companions here also can bring up ideas and thoughts during the discussion. And like I said, we're starting with this one, which is Batman. So that's the topic of today's discussion. Is Batman overrated? I have a very strong opinion about this, so I'll let one of you take the floor and start first.
Oh no, go ahead.
Oh, are you sure? You sure you want me to start first? Because you just have a bunch of rebuttals for me?
Sure.
Okay. I think Batman's overrated. And I know that's controversial.
Hey, episode over.
Yay! All right. Well, we appreciate you guys coming here. We appreciate your time. We're going to have to go ahead and let you guys go. But no, I think he's overrated. And that's not to say I hate Batman, because when I say that, and I've been famously pegged as being, a Batman hater, but I grew up with Batman. We grew up with Batman. We grew up with Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, and unfortunately George Clooney. At the time when I was a kid, I didn't hate those movies, but, we grew up with that. We saw a little bit of Adam West. But, we grew up with Batman and Superman mostly when we were young kids. And then as we got older, we kind of started drifting more towards the Marvel side of things. But I never hated Batman back in the day. I always enjoyed his movies, and I always thought it was really cool to see Michael Keaton, taking on the Joker, taking on the Penguin, or getting his butt kicked by Catwoman. I think it all really started when people started getting crazy with their accusations of Batman can take on anybody if given enough time to plan for it. And I'm sorry, I think that's nonsense. At the end of the day, Superman is still the Man of Steel. That whole comic line, I don't think would actually take place. I think the Superman from a distance would go, it's a little weird, he's just standing out here in the middle of this area. And especially in the movie, he's just got these super secret machine gun kryptonite dealios, and Superman's like, I can't see through that. Let me get closer. So I'll start with that. I don't want to take over the whole episode, because I could, but I want you guys to be a part of the conversation. So what do you think?
I've already told you that Batman's such a good planner that it's like you can do a lot whenever you have a plan in action, and you're assuming that Superman is just this genius who's gonna know whenever he has something going on. He's not gonna think that every little ounce of lead is gonna have something hidden behind it, even if it's just this person standing there creepily, as you said, in this little field or whatever. He's always just assumed that just because there's lead there and he can't see through it, oh, there are lead pipes under your house, there must be kryptonite in those.
That's bigger than a lead pipe. To hold a machine gun, that's a lot bigger than it. And also, real quick before I let someone else jump in, Superman is also super intelligent. People forget that part of his powers. He's also super intelligent. And I don't care about the super planning nonsense that Batman has. Things go wrong. Have you ever planned something and everything went according to plan?
I don't know. I think you're just thinking too far into the whole superhero thing. It's just a thing of fiction, and you're assuming it's in the real world.
But that's the problem. People get crazy with Batman that way. That's why I take it that far. What do you think, Jay? What are your feelings about Batman?
I ran this by people I know, and they loved it.
It's fine. It's not. I see what you're saying, superhero-wise, but
I grew up with Batman. I don't hate him, but it annoys me to no end when people are like, oh, he's the best. He could beat anybody. I'm like, he doesn't have superpowers. That already puts him in a disadvantage.
Well, I think a lot of people get behind Batman so much because he's the more realistic to real life kind of a hero. Because he has that money and he's able to do this stuff. Yeah, he might not be the strongest of all time, but he certainly has more capabilities than just like me or you would have if we were a quote-unquote superhero or a vigilante.
I mean, you're not wrong, but at the same time, Homeland Security exists, and domestic terrorists are also a thing, and I do believe that he would have gotten... I mean, there's been lots of situations where people tried to take the law into their own hand, and next thing you know, the FBI is raiding their home or their ranch or whatever the situation may call for. And that's the thing with that. It's like, Batman would have gotten arrested a long time ago. You think that they don't have the technology to track you back to your little conveniently Batcave under the manor?
Just look into, like, hackers. Like, there are a lot of hackers out there that, like, police can't pinpoint where they're at or what they're doing or even who they are. Like, it goes into, like, his intelligence and stuff. And, yeah, it's an unbelievable amount of, like, intelligence that they're saying that he would have. But it's, like, it just goes into the character, and that's what he is. He has the quote-unquote super intelligence.
That's such a cop-out answer. He has super intelligence, man. He's a super planner. Wait until he plans your wedding. You're not going to know what to think, bro. Like I said, it drives me insane. Like, okay, I think, and this is going to sound like it's off subject, but it's not. It's going to sound like I'm kind of reaching. But I believe Batman, along with Spider-Man, have the best rogues galleries. I think their villains are unique. I think that they stand out. I think that they're interesting. I think that they're perfect for the superhero that they face against without being an exact copy of the hero, only bad. Superman has Doomsday, which is basically, essentially, a bad Superman.
Bizarro.
He has Bizarro, basically a bad Superman. He has what's the space bounty hunter?
What's that name?
Lobo.
Don't talk about Lobo like that.
Like, literally, like, Zod, like, every single thing, except for, like, Mr. Mixelpicklick and Lex Luthor, all of them are, like, Superman bad edition. Like, they're the bad boys of the Superman world.
Well, that's because everyone wants Superman to be bad, so they gotta see what it's like.
Yeah, but, like, I mean, with Batman, I think it's interesting because he has good villains. And against those villains, you're right. I think he would smack down on them all the time because he's a martial arts master, and that's fine. But this is an interesting thing that I found. I was doing a little bit of research about this because, like, am I being overboard with some of this Batman ideology? And I don't believe that I am. If you look at this, so it says, somehow Batman has managed to master every form of hand-to-hand combat, mostly using martial arts like jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, judo, karate, kung fu, krav maga, muay thai, aikido, I think that's how you pronounce it, and ninjutsu, when it typically takes between 30 to 70 years of continuous training of martial arts mastery, and to receive the 10th degree black belt. Just the basic proficiency at martial arts requires 29 hours or 3 to 4 months of training for 1 hour twice a week on average. Sure, even if you didn't have that mastery, you'd be, if you were Batman and you had all your high-tech gadgets and stuff, I think that would make you a formidable foe, but not against superheroes. Like, me and Jay, we were joking about this the other day, that, like, Justice League don't need Batman. They brought him in because he's a fan favorite. I think Batman was better when he used guns. Then I'd be like, you guys could probably use him a little bit.
Do you feel the same about Iron Man?
No, because Iron Man is what makes sense if a billionaire that has all this genius IQ, that has all this wealth, has all this technology at his disposal. Iron Man makes way more sense because he doesn't leave his jaw exposed to a bullet from any of the trained assassins that exist in the world of DC. Am I right? Like, literally. Okay, imagine this scenario. One that Batman cannot plan for.
What? Come on.
Batman swinging through Gotham. I'm Batman. Where's all the evildoers? He's just doing his thing. And all of a sudden, he stumbles upon a crime in progress. It doesn't even have to be something big. It could literally just be like a mugging that we have Batman in our sights. We see him. All right, commence operation, kill Batman. And it could be like a little mugging. Or it could be some grandiose thing that they for sure know will get Batman's attention. You're telling me somebody like Deadshot couldn't be set up with a sniper ready to go.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what.
Waiting for Mr. Brucey Bruce to come in and intervene. And while he's doing that, he's like, look at his jawbone and my distinguished features. Boom! He's dead. Shot in the face. Like, that's the most nonsense. At least Iron Man was like, I'm gonna armor up in case something like that happens. I think Iron Man's the more realistic super billionaire. I think, like, in real life, like, if Elon Musk suddenly decided to become a super billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, superhero, he has all this technology. I think that's the route he would go. He wouldn't be like, I'm going to put on some chainmail armor and I'm going to go out there and kick ass style. I think the better Batman, Batman Beyond. I think that's the better Batman.
But it's still just a fabric suit. Like,
well, I think
a fabric suit's not going to protect his chin.
When I was doing a little bit of research on it, I think the whole thing, it's kind of armored. I think it's similar. Like, it's not just like, oh, I have on spandex. Like, I think it's actually kind of like a nanotech armor kind of thing. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't do a ton of research on Batman Beyond, but I still feel like he's the better Batman because he actually was like, also on top of that, people have been caught and identified in crimes based on simple features that they noticed on security cameras, and they were able to put out an APV and catch these criminals. Batman has a pretty defined jaw. You telling me nobody notices?
Well, this is in the same universe where someone puts on glasses and you can't tell that he's Superman.
I know that you're Clark Kent. What? Newsflash. It takes a little more than wearing a hat and or glasses to fool people. Really?
What are you talking about? You can't tell who
hero?
I am DK Ultra.
Check this out. Watch. Uh-oh. I'm someone else. Are you fooled? I'm not Commissioner Gordon. He's gone.
Who are you?
In case you didn't notice, I have my glasses off. Look at my smoldering good looks. I am the superhero you deserve.
Oh, hi guys. I'm DK. Don't mind me. I'm just hanging out. Just a nerdy guy.
I watched somebody review the original Superman movie with Christopher Reeve. They'd never seen it before. And they made a good point. Like, he really played the clumsy, bumbling idiot card so well that I'm like, I could kind of see how that would work. But I'd also be like, you work out, bro?
Yeah.
It's so controversial. And honestly, I'm kind of a dick about it because when I find out somebody is one of the die-hard Batman fans, not just like, I like Batman, but like, Batman's the best, bro. I'm like, okay, this is going to be fun. And I will strip down their arguments and make them so angry about it. And I don't do it to be mean, but I'm like, dude, listen to how ridiculous you sound. He has no powers. It's the same thing as being like, Green Arrow could take on everybody because he's super smart. No, he couldn't. He has arrows. It's like Hawkeye being like, I'm going to kill the Marvel Universe. No, you're not. You have no powers.
And I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense.
Not missing is helpful if you're like peeing in the dark. Like, yeah, good job. You didn't pee on the floor. Like, that doesn't help you in any other situation except for like professional darts player. And the same thing with Batman. See, I like I said, I did a lot of research on this because I was curious. It's like, I don't want to be too irrational. But at the end of the day, I think Batman made more sense when he used guns because he was like the Punisher. And people are like, no, man, he doesn't kill. Well, he did. He did kill some people. He didn't kill very many people. And most of them weren't by a gun. Actually, let me see if I can find that real quick. In Detective Comics number 32, he kills a vampire in volume 1. And then he also gets some of Hugo Strange's henchmen in Batman number 1, The Giants of Hugo Strange. Oh, it also says, even though he hasn't used guns except for those 2 times, and I mean, you know, they're like, oh, it was a monster, it was a vampire, it's totally justified, man. I mean, he still killed people. People are like, he has a moral ethic code, he doesn't kill people. It's like, he should probably stop that because the Joker just keeps killing people. And he didn't hold back against, he's killed Dr. Death, a rich man he punched into a sword, Hugo Strange, and then, if I remember right, he's killed KG Beast 2 different times. Like, one of them, he straight up kills him. The other time, I think he leaves him for dead. Batman's not immune to killing people. It says here, it's looking like it wasn't until Batman #1, because he was always in Detective Comics before that. It wasn't until Batman #1 that Batman donned the no-kill policy, and that's only because the DC editor at the time, Whitney Ellsworth, went to Bob Kane and Bill Finger and was like, hey, can we not do this? It's not a good look. And I'm sure the comics, the Comics Authority, I forget exactly what it's called. I should have wrote that down, because now I sound really stupid and naive. I have to edit that out, because you're talking nonsense. I'm like Batman. I have a super IQ. I'm super smart. Just wait till I plan your wedding, bro. What do you think? I mean, do you really think, based off of our discussion, do you really think that Batman, at the end of the day, is the superior super planner?
Man, that was never my argument that he's just superior. I'm just going against what you said. I like Batman, though. Yeah. I don't think versus a lot of people like Superman, like I don't know that he would come out on top every single time, but I think it is in the DC universe like possibility that he could, because he does, like I said, he does plan stuff out. Would it get him on top every time? No.
I know it's controversial, and I know there's probably going to be people be like, you don't know what you're talking about, man. The only reason Batman has ever been as big and successful as he is because people are like, I could be him. Well, you couldn't, because you don't have that money. You don't have those resources. So you couldn't be Batman. You could be like a knockoff Kick-Ass. Like, you'd be like, you actually feel the pain versus Kick-Ass not feeling the pain. And I think if you put him against like his normal villains, then yeah, I'd be like, I think he could come out on top most of the time. I think the Joker should have been executed a long time ago because he just keeps killing people. And Batman's like, but I can't kill. It's like, he does not care. He's doing it. You should probably, like, the death penalty exists for a reason. Like, all the serial killers throughout history that have existed, we weren't like, we have a no-kill policy. It's our moral code. No, they were like, this guy's killing people. We should probably stop that so he can't do it anymore.
Well, not every time. I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer, I'm currently watching the show.
Oh, gosh.
Like, he ends up just getting murdered in prison by, like, another inmate. Spoiler alert. But, like...
You did it after the fact.
But, like, he was asking for the death penalty, and, like, they're like, no, you can just sit in jail. Like, they didn't kill him. There's a lot of them that they didn't.
I mean, yeah, but if
Joker would probably end up in that category.
But the thing is if he kept escaping and going out and killing more people, do you think they would have had that same policy?
I don't know. Maybe they have a no-kill policy in Gotham.
They're like, peace and love, man. We don't kill people here. That's always been the one thing that's bugged me the most. It's like when people hated on the Man of Steel movie, they were like, it's not realistic. Superman killed Zod. I'm like, bro, he was gonna kill and keep killing. I think that makes complete and total sense. Like, I didn't have any issues with that at all. I was like, he's not just going out and murdering people all willy-nilly. Zod had already destroyed a lot of Metropolis, and he was not stopping. Superman did what he had to do, and I feel like if Batman would do that, he wouldn't end up in these situations where, like, Barbara Gordon gets paralyzed by the Joker.
Well, it's like you look at, like, the Red Hood stuff. How that starts was the Joker killed, what was it, Jason with a crowbar?
Yeah.
And, like, I'm just like, that was like his son. And just like, if you murdered my son, and then he just still let him go. I mean, I agree with you on that. Like, that part is like a little, not necessarily unrealistic, because I'm sure are people that, even if someone in their family was murdered, they still do that. But I'm just like, I don't know if I could be the same and be like, no, it's cool, man. We'll just put you in jail.
Yeah. I think that there are moments when killing somebody to save somebody is completely justified. And in that situation, the Joker is irredeemable. He's crazy. His whole thing is to keep Batman alive and torture him by attacking and destroying everything that's dear to him. And I want to say this to the fans, for all you that defend Batman so heavily, y'all murdered Jason Todd. They let you choose and you were like, kill him! So, I don't know how much I should really respect.
I mean, have you seen how many people like true crime and serial killer shows and...
I don't know, y'all are bloodthirsty. That's what it really is. Batman breeds serial killers that are like, just do it. Just do it. Get him. Kill him.
That's the argument you're going with.
That's my new argument. I've changed the argument. It's not as Batman over it is. Are Batman fans serial killers? I just like that's because I'm so torn. Because like I said, I grew up with Batman. I think Batman Beyond is cool. I love Batman's villains, but at the end of the day, the Justice League doesn't need Batman. They'd be perfectly fine. It'd be like if Sherlock Holmes showed up and was like, guys, I'm here to audition. And like, we don't need you. Are you telling me if Elon Musk, who also trains in different martial arts, and he showed up, he's like, guys, I'm super smart. I have a lot of money, and I'm trained in hand-to-hand combat. And he was like, I want to join. Do you really think the Justice League...
Maybe he paid for the watchtower. They're like, okay, you can join.
Well, what if that's it? What if he locked him into a lease, and part of the lease was actually, you have to let me come with you? He's like the little kid that's like...
Yeah, he's the younger sibling.
Yeah, he's like the little kid's like, guys, can I come with you? Guys, I'll be so much help. You know what really, I think what makes my point that much more legitimate to those who are still like, you don't know what you're talking about, man. I'll never believe anything that you say. Have you read Dark Knight's Metal? That's an interesting series because they take Batman and put him in these situations where he acquires superpowers and he does a lot of awful, awful things that he couldn't do before. Like, he's so much more formidable that Batman does not know what to do against these guys because there's so much worse because they have superpowers. So, like, normal Batman, I don't think he has as much of a leg to stand on when you actually pit him against people who don't hold back with their powers. Like, they're like, we're gonna just kill you. We don't care. So, like, how can you say that Batman can hold his own against normal superheroes when it's like, are they really bringing it against you? Or are they holding back? Because that's like the thing with like the Batman versus Superman situation. It's like Batman was only super successful because Superman was really holding back. But if Superman really wanted to, he'd be up in the air and Batman would be like, come down here. And he'd be like, I'm good. He's like, no, come down here. He's like, I'm good. What do you want to talk about? I can hear you. I got super hearing. Talk from there. Oh, I can hear you. He's like,
I don't want anyone to overhear.
Could you please come here? I'm going to tell you a secret. My mom's name's Martha too. Come here. You want to go get a drink? I'll buy. Come on, man. Come on, you're ruining everything, man. Come on, could you come down here and be like, I'm good, man. What you got to say?
I got something in this cool box.
Superman's like, I can't see through that. Why can't I see through that? And he's like, it's a surprise.
It's your birthday.
I got you something. I didn't want to ruin the surprise. It's something really special. I think you really like it. Not to mention the plot armor in the movie. I mean, I've never actually read the comic, but I've seen most of the comic, and I've also seen the animated movie that they made of it, plus the DCU movie that they did, and especially in the DCEU movie, he really got lucky. This is my thing. Are you trying to tell me that with enough planning, Batman could take out, like, let's not just stick in the DC universe. Let's vary a little bit. Are you telling me that he could take down Thanos, or he could take out, I don't know, Galactus, or you telling me he could take down the Phoenix Force? There's enough planning. You know, he's so all-powerful.
I mean, I could plan a mean vacation, not forgetting a single thing. So
how is that helping you in these
so
fights?
He just does a lot of Googling.
I feel like if Batman was your travel agent, then you'd be in good hands. But I feel like any other situation, like, you'd be so much better off without Batman. Like, leave him in his world of just fighting crazy people, and you're good. Problem solved. You start trying to fold him in because fans really like him, and I don't think he works as well as people claim that he does. I think that there's been a lot of, like, buffing of his powers. You know, his super planning. He didn't used to have that. That became something that, like, the original versions, when they were, like, took away his, like, guns and stuff, they were like, hey, we make him super smart. Like, okay, that's fine, but what can his brain do that a gun can't do?
Plan.
Hilarious. You're so clever. Are you Batman?
You recognize this shit?
Yeah, it looks just like it. I knew I recognized you somewhere before. What do you guys think? Do you think we have any invalidation to our argument? Is there anything that you think that Batman does better than we're giving him credit for? Is there something unique about him that I'm missing that makes him just God tier level Batman?
Do you have any angry comments for DK?
I mean, you can leave them. I won't read them, but I appreciate your participation in our program. I said, it makes me sound like I'm hating so hard on him, but I approach everything from like a realistic approach. No matter what I'm watching, there has to be a little bit of, like, if they're doing dumb things, like when we were watching Friday the 13th Part 2.
Yeah.
How many things were happening in that movie that were like, this does not make any sense. And this makes Jason look like a punk. Like, remember the part, and I went over this, if you haven't heard it yet, it's coming out. I did a review of this. But how ridiculous was some of the things he tried to do? He was just murking people the whole entire movie so strategically. And then at the very end, he was like, I'm going to stand on a chair and surprise her. What? What are you doing, Jason? Like, you could have literally, like, nothing in that place squeaked or creaked. That place was in good shape. Like, my house creaks all the time. And it was made probably around the same time that camp was originally built. And you tell me that place doesn't creak when you're going up the stairs or anything. So he could have literally just tiptoed into the corner and waited in some of these situations to just kill the main girl. I feel like that was Batman. It doesn't, some of the things that happen just don't make any sense. It's like you could literally be doing such a better job of being Batman if you didn't put yourself in these limited situations of, I don't kill ever.
No guns, no killing.
Where's the fun in that?
Well, sometimes maybe you should. And I could take on anybody. Yeah, because they're probably letting. Like, you ever play a game against somebody who's really good at it and they just, like, take it easy on you to let you win? I know there's been situations where Jay's let me win games that we played because, I mean, when it comes to shooting games, it's never been my strong suit. I've gotten a lot better, but it's never been, like, my specialty. But like I said, I mean, I think that they let Batman feel like he's superior. The Flash is literally so fast that before you could even do any of your plans, he would rip your heart out. He would phase his hand through your body that's not protected by anything other than, like, body armor. And he would phase his hand in there and phase it back out holding your beating heart. And you go, oh, I didn't think about that. Like, this is how unrealistic it is. Batman is like, I can take out the Flash. The Flash is so fast. He can travel back in time. He's that fast.
All you have to do is put a banana peel in front of him.
That doesn't actually work. That's not real.
You've never played Mario Kart? Have you seen what can happen with a banana peel?
Okay, if you put Batman in the Mario Kart universe, then yes, if he was taking on Super Mario, he could probably beat all of them.
The Mario Kart universe.
The Mario Kart universe. It's different from the Super Mario Brothers universe because they don't have go-karts that have special banana peels that they could shoot at you.
I want that movie. Forget about that, what's that called? Need for Speed? Oh, wait. Fast and Furious. Forget about all that. Give me Mario Kart the movie.
Fast and the Furious Mario Kart edition. Like, you see, like, Vin Diesel, and they're like, family. And they're like, yeah, well, here's a bomb! Throwing, like, that blue turtle shell at him. He's like, I'm so far ahead of these guys, they'll never catch up. And they're like, sucker! And then as soon as he gets hit by it and it destroys his car because it doesn't have the same powers as these, go-karts that they're driving around on. Yeah, I feel like we've covered this about as extensively as we can. And I know that there's going to be some, because the conversations that I've had with people, and like I said, I only do it because it annoys me when they're like, he could take out Superman, he could take out the Flash, he could take out the whole Marvel universe even though Wolverine has regenerative superpowers that no matter what happened to him, that Batman could throw his way, he would still beat him. Like, that's when I'm like, okay. And all the conversations that I've had with those people, they refuse to accept anything that I'm saying. They're like, no, man, you're wrong. Like, it cracks me up when I'm like, well, why is that? And why is that? Well, what about this? And what about that? And at the end of the day, they're just like, just cause Batman would win. He's better. I'm like, I don't know if that's a valid argument.
Are you talking about a certain redhead?
I mean, I've had the conversation with certain redhead. I've also had it with a couple of coworkers who literally stopped talking to me for the rest of the day because they were so mad at me and what I was saying. And they literally would just keep jumping back into the conversation. Even though I had moved on, I was like, I've done my job here. And I would move on, and they'd be like, yeah, well, what about this, man? I'm like, oh, here we go again. Like, some people just aren't going to accept it. And that's fine. If you like Batman, like Batman. But stop telling me that he can beat anybody no matter what. Stop telling me that, because it's nonsense. That is nonsense. Or they give Batman some superpowers, I'll be like, okay. Like, maybe Batman Beyond would actually do a better job of being helpful to the team and actually be an adversary in some of these situations. And it's like, he gets beaten by the Joker all the time. You're telling me he beat Superman? Get out of here. I think we covered it. And like I said, if you want to be a Batman fan, be a Batman fan. If you don't, then don't. If my argument has swayed you, well, congratulations. Welcome to the club. And if not, then that's fine too. Go ahead. Keep liking Batman. Keep believing what you want to believe. I'm not here to tell you that what you're doing is wrong. I'm telling you that it's stupid. So...
It took me a second to hear what you said.
Like I said, you can...
DK stands for dick.
Yeah, I took out the 2 middle letters so that you would have to think about it. So like I said, just hit it, if you liked this video, if you thought it was interesting, if you thought that I made any good points, or if any of my companions made any good points, drop it down below, hit a like. Subscribe. We're starting this channel off fresh. This is the very first episode. You're probably going to notice how clunky it is and how much that there were some moments where, it kind of dragged on a little bit. Like maybe what I'm doing right here, dragging on the episode a little bit. Mm-hmm. And, if that's what you feel, then go for it. Message below. Send us a comment. I'll never read it, but I appreciate the input.
I'm just typing a comment now. You're cutting into my nap.
Yeah, you'll survive. But like I said, if you're new to the channel, which I'm sure you are because we're new to YouTube, then subscribe. We're looking to build up ourselves a popular culture. That's what, just giving you a heads up. When you hear popular cult, don't go, oh no. It's not one of those. It's just a bunch of nerds and enthusiasts and fanboys and girls that are very passionate about the things that they enjoy, and we want to talk about it.
But I just ordered my black hood.
Well,
and my satanic Bible.
You weren't supposed to tell anybody about that.
Oh, edit that out.
Okay. But anyway, we appreciate you guys stopping by. We're going to, see where this goes. And, like I said, if you want to be a part of the popular cult, then go ahead and, get into the fray. Join us. But I'll go ahead and let you guys go. You can reach the other two at any point. You can reach Miss Aline on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. But anyway,
that's what means.
Like I said, you can reach Miss Aline on YouTube. Jay has a EFEB that he's currently working on. Hopefully it'll be ready to go here soon. If you enjoy riding and wrestling, then this is the place for you. And like I said, we'll see you guys on the next time.